Have you ever stood in the middle of a completely unfurnished house and felt like the silence was, almost deafening?
Oh, absolutely. It's a very specific kind of quiet.
Right. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are exploring this beautifully evocative personal essay, and we're pairing it with some psychology notes to really understand the profound experience of moving into an empty home.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating combination of sources.
So let's set the scene directly from the text. The movers have just left. They've taken the whole chaotic symphony of heavy boots, grunts of exertion, and that awful screeching of packing tape out the door.
Yeah, the worst sound.
Exactly. And the narrator is sitting on the floor, leaning against a cardboard box labeled Living Room Misc. They're just engulfed in this heavy, tangible silence. Dust motes are dancing in the late afternoon sun across bare, unblemished walls and polished oak.
It paints such a vivid picture.
It really does. Okay, let's unpack this pun fully intended.
Nice.
Thank you. The core tension right from the jump is wild. I mean, this vast space is entirely the narrator's, yet it's completely devoid of them.
Right, and that physical emptiness triggers a really surprising auditory illusion. Instead of the expected loneliness, the silence actually gets broken by things that aren't physically there at all.
Which is so interesting because I was thinking about this, and it's almost like an empty house usually acts like a vacuum. And a vacuum typically pulls in feelings of dread or isolation because, well, nature abhors a void.
Right, exactly.
But isn't it strange how this specific void acts instead like a magnet for warmth?
It is strange, but the human brain is actually wired to do exactly that. When we're deprived of immediate sensory input like sitting alone in a highly resonant, visually sterile room, we naturally project our strongest emotional schemas onto that blank canvas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so instead of dread, the narrator starts hearing phantom sounds. A giggle, a rich booming laugh over a spilled cup of coffee.
Wait, like literal sounds.
Well, perceived sounds. Breathless cackles from a midnight board game, and the warm, quiet chuckles you'd share in a dim kitchen.
Okay, I have to push back a bit, though.
Sure, go ahead.
Calling it a magnet for warmth feels, I don't know, highly romanticized. Most people standing in an echoing room just feel overwhelmed by the sheer mundane stress of the 50 boxes they still have to unpack.
Oh, for sure. Moving is exhausting.
Right. So how does the text bridge that gap between moving day exhaustion and this profound feeling of phantom laughter?
It bridges that gap through the environment itself. What's fascinating here is how the physical acoustics of the unfurnished room drive the psychological shift. Bare drywall and uncarpeted oak naturally create heavy reverberation.
Okay, the echo.
Exactly. But the brain doesn't just process the echo of a passing car outside. It uses that acoustic amplification to project untethered memories. Because the space sounds huge and empty, the narrator's mind rushes to fill that acoustic void with their most resonant memories of past joy.
That makes a lot of sense. Think about the last time you, the listener, walked into a new place before moving your furniture in. You probably weren't just staring at the baseboards.
Right, you're picturing your life there.
Exactly. You're imagining the life you're bringing into it. And because those acoustic memories fill up the space in the essay, the narrator's entire perspective on this quote-unquote empty house completely flips.
Yeah, the narrator explicitly realizes this isn't a haunting. It's a consecration.
A consecration. I love that word for this.
It's perfect, right? The house isn't just an empty container waiting for a television and a rug. It's a blank canvas that is already primed with the joy of the life that brought them to that threshold.
Wow.
The quiet isn't a dead silence. It's described in the text as a held breath, a deliberate pause before the next beautiful, noisy chapter begins.
So what does this all mean? Well, for the narrator, the turning point is incredibly physical. They let out a sigh, and that sigh echoes lightly against the high ceiling.
And that echo breaks the spell.
Exactly. Hearing their own breath bounce off the walls snaps them right out of the reverie. They finally stand up and begin unpacking, ready to give those echoes something new to bounce against.
Synthesizing all of this, the core takeaway is really about how we process major life changes. We often view transitions as starting from absolute zero, wiping the slate completely clean.
Yeah, starting over.
But functionally, we are bringing the joyful, noisy foundation of our history into every single new environment we enter.
You never arrive empty-handed. I absolutely love that. So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If our past joys hold the power to literally consecrate the empty physical spaces we inhabit, what personal echoes are you unknowingly projecting into the quiet, blank canvas moments of your own life?